June 5th, 1944. The coast of England. 156,000 men stand ready for the largest invasion in human history. Across the English Channel, Hitler's Atlantic Wall waits. Concrete bunkers, landmines, machine guns. The fate of the free world hangs on what happens in the next 24 hours. This is D-Day. For 4 years, Nazi Germany has controlled Europe. From the beaches of France to the streets of Warsaw, Hitler's empire stretches across a continent. Britain stands alone. America has joined the fight. But to defeat the Third Reich, the Allies must do the impossible. They must invade Fortress Europe. The plan is called Operation Overlord. Land 156,000 soldiers on 5 beaches in Normandy, France. Establish a foothold. Break through Hitler's defenses. Push into France. It has never been attempted. If it fails, the war could be lost. If it succeeds, it could end the war. Everything depends on the next day, June 6th, D-Day. Many of the men waiting to board those ships are teenagers. Farm boys from Iowa, factory workers from Detroit, students from New York. They know what awaits them. They've been told the first waves will suffer 70% casualties. They board the ships anyway. This is their story. The man who must make the final decision is General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces. He has planned Operation Overlord for over a year, the largest amphibious invasion ever conceived. But there's a problem: the weather. June 5th was supposed to be D-Day, but storms rage across the English Channel, waves 20 feet high, winds at 40 miles per hour. Eisenhower postpones. The men are already on the ships, seasick, terrified, waiting. Eisenhower must decide: launch on June 6th with marginal weather, or postpone for weeks and risk the Germans discovering the plan. June 5th, 9:15 p.m. Eisenhower's headquarters. His meteorologist predicts a brief window of better weather on June 6th, maybe 36 hours. Eisenhower looks at his commanders, asks each for their opinion. Then he makes the decision alone. Okay, we'll go. 3 words that would change the world. The numbers are staggering: 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, 156,000 troops, 4,000 landing craft. The invasion fleet stretches across 100 miles of ocean. It is the largest armada ever assembled, and it has one mission: hit 5 beaches in Normandy: Omaha, Utah, Gold, Juno, Sword. The Allies have spent months deceiving Hitler. Fake armies in England, double agents feeding false information. The Germans expect the invasion at Calais, 150 miles from Normandy. They are wrong. But Hitler's Atlantic Wall still waits. 50,000 German troops, concrete bunkers with interlocking fields of fire, mines, obstacles, the strongest coastal defenses ever built. Eisenhower knows the cost. He has written a letter taking full responsibility if the invasion fails. He carries it in his pocket. He also knows that thousands of young men will die tomorrow. He visits the troops one last time, shakes hands, wishes them luck. Then he watches them board the ships. All he can do now is wait. On the ships, the men prepare. They clean their rifles, check their equipment. Some write letters home. Many will never be mailed. Chaplains move among the troops offering comfort. Some men pray. Others try to sleep but cannot. They know what's coming. In the darkness, the armada crosses the channel. Each soldier carries 80 pounds of equipment: rifle, ammunition, grenades, rations. Some carry even more: flamethrowers, Bangalore torpedoes to blow up barbed wire, radios, medical supplies. Many are loaded so heavily they can barely walk. If they fall in the water, they will sink like stones. June 5th, 11 p.m. The ships are 20 miles from France. The men can't see the coast yet, but they know it's there. Some sing to calm their nerves. Others are silent. Officers give final instructions. Most of the men are too young to vote, but they're old enough to die. The average age is 22. While the armada crosses the channel, another assault is already underway. 23,000 paratroopers from the American 82nd and 101st Airborne divisions. British 6th Airborne. They will jump behind enemy lines hours before the beach landings. Their mission: seize bridges, disrupt German reinforcements, create chaos. The paratroopers blacken their faces, load their parachutes, board the C-47 transport planes. Each man carries over 100 pounds of gear. Some joke nervously, others are quiet. They know the statistics. 30% casualties expected, maybe higher. Eisenhower visits them before they take off. His face says everything. He knows he's sending them to die. June 6th, 12:15 a.m. The first C-47s roar across the channel. Inside, the paratroopers stand, hook their static lines. The green light flashes. Jump. Men pour out into the night sky over Normandy. Some planes are hit by German anti-aircraft fire. Men jump from burning aircraft. Others are scattered miles from their drop zones. The invasion has begun. The parachute drops are catastrophic. High winds, German anti-aircraft fire, pilots flying evasive maneuvers. Paratroopers are scattered across 50 square miles. Units are separated. Men land in flooded fields and drown, weighted down by their equipment. Others land in trees and are shot before they can cut themselves free. The plan is already falling apart. But the paratroopers adapt. Small groups form in the darkness, using clickers to identify each other. American, click, click, response, click, click. They don't know where they are. They don't know where their objectives are, but they know they have to fight. Scattered groups attack German positions, seize crossroads, blow up bridges, create confusion. The most critical objective, Pegasus Bridge, a bridge over the Caen Canal. If the Germans can cross it, they can rush reinforcements to the beaches. British glider troops land within yards of the bridge. In 10 minutes of brutal fighting, they capture it. Major John Howard holds the bridge against German counterattacks. The first objective is secured. Meanwhile, American paratroopers of the 101st Airborne have their own mission. The town of Sainte-Mère-Église. They must capture it to prevent German reinforcements from reaching Utah Beach. Private John Steele's parachute catches on the church steeple. He hangs there, playing dead, as the battle rages below. The town is captured by dawn. By 4 a.m., the airborne assault has accomplished its mission. Bridges secured, roads blocked, Germans confused. But the cost is terrible. Of the 13,000 American paratroopers dropped, 2,500 are casualties, dead, wounded, or missing. Entire sticks of men wiped out. But they've done their job. The beaches will have a chance. The German response is chaos. Field Marshal Rommel, who commands the Atlantic Wall defenses, is in Germany celebrating his wife's birthday. He doesn't believe the Allies would invade in bad weather. German commanders are scattered. Many are at a staff meeting in Rennes. The scattered parachute drops convince some Germans this is just a diversion. They don't reinforce Normandy. It's a fatal mistake. Most critically, Adolf Hitler is asleep at his mountain retreat in Berchtesgaden. His staff refuses to wake him. The panzer divisions that could crush the invasion sit idle, awaiting Hitler's personal orders. By the time he wakes and releases them, it will be too late. The Allies' greatest weapon on D-Day isn't their ships or planes, it's German bureaucracy. As dawn breaks over Normandy, the Armada appears on the horizon. German soldiers on the Atlantic Wall stare in disbelief. 5,000 ships, the largest invasion fleet in history. For months they've been told the Atlantic Wall is impregnable. Now they will find out. The bombardment begins. Naval guns, aircraft, rockets. The earth shakes. The men in the landing craft can see the coast now. They're going in. 6:30 a.m., H-hour. The first wave of landing craft approaches the beaches. Inside, men crouch shoulder to shoulder. The boats pitch violently in the surf. Many are seasick. The naval bombardment roars overhead. The boats are 500 yards from shore. 400. 300. German machine guns open fire. Bullets ping off the metal ramps. Men pray. Omaha Beach, the Americans' toughest objective. A crescent of sand 4 miles long, overlooked by 100-foot cliffs. The Germans have the high ground. Concrete bunkers, machine gun nests, artillery. The naval bombardment has barely touched them. The bombers missed. Now as the ramps drop, the slaughter begins. The ramps drop. Men pour out. Instantly machine gun fire cuts them down. Entire boat crews are killed before they reach the sand. Men fall into the water, pulled under by their equipment. Those who make it to the beach find no cover. just open sand. German gunners fire from protected positions. It's a shooting gallery. The beach turns red. Bodies pile up at the water's edge. Wounded men scream for medics. Medics are shot trying to reach them. Equipment litters the beach. Burning tanks. Destroyed landing craft. Dead men face down in the surf. Officers are targeted first. Leadership breaks down. Men huddle behind beach obstacles, pinned down. For 2 hours, it looks like Omaha will fail. Then, a miracle. Navy destroyers risk running aground to provide close fire support. They sail within 1,000 yards of shore, point-blank range. They hammer the German bunkers. One by one, the concrete fortifications are destroyed. It gives the men on the beach a chance. Small groups, led by sergeants and corporals, start moving. Bangalore torpedoes blow gaps in the barbed wire. Engineers clear paths through the minefields, many dying in the process. Men crawl up the bluffs under fire. They reach the German trenches. Close quarters fighting, grenades, rifles, bayonets. By noon, small groups are at the top. By nightfall, Omaha is secured. But the cost is staggering. Omaha Beach, 2,400 American casualties, dead and wounded. Some companies lose 90% of their men. The 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One, suffers over 1,000 casualties. Medics work frantically. The beach is a scene of carnage that will haunt survivors forever. But they've done it. They've broken through. Omaha is American. Utah Beach, the westernmost landing. Due to strong currents, the landing craft drift 2,000 yards south of the planned beach. It's a lucky accident. The beach they land on is lightly defended. Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., Teddy Roosevelt's son, is in the first wave. At 56 years old, he's the oldest and highest-ranking officer to land. He makes the decision. We'll start the war from right here. Utah is secured with fewer than 200 casualties. Gold Beach, Juno Beach, Sword Beach, the British and Canadian landings. They face their own hell. At Juno, Canadian troops encounter heavy resistance, 50% casualties in the first wave. But they push through. British commandos link up with the airborne troops at Pegasus Bridge. By nightfall, the British and Canadians have advanced 6 miles inland, further than any other Allied force on D-Day. By the end of D-Day, 156,000 Allied troops are ashore. The Atlantic Wall, Hitler's impregnable fortress, is broken. 5 separate beachheads. The Germans are in retreat. But the battle is far from over. Reinforcements are coming. Panzer divisions, elite SS troops. The hedgerows of Normandy await. The fight for France has just begun. D-Day was won by individual acts of courage. Medics running into fire to save the wounded. Engineers clearing mines under enemy guns. Soldiers climbing the cliffs of Pointe du Hoc with ropes and grappling hooks. Coxswains bringing their landing craft back for more men, even as bullets tore through the hulls. Thousands of small acts of bravery that together saved the world. Perhaps the most daring mission, Pointe du Hoc. 225 Army Rangers must scale 100-foot cliffs under fire to destroy German artillery that threatens the beaches. They climb with grappling hooks and rope ladders. Germans throw grenades down, cut their ropes. The Rangers climb anyway. They reach the top. The guns aren't there. They've been moved. The Rangers find them a mile inland and destroy them. Of 225 Rangers, only 90 are still able to fight by nightfall. The men on the beaches couldn't have succeeded without the Navy and Air Force. Navy coxswains brought wave after wave to shore, even as their boats were shot to pieces. Destroyer crews risked their ships to provide fire support. Pilots flew thousands of sorties, protecting the beaches from German aircraft. Navy engineers cleared beach obstacles under fire. Many drowned. Their sacrifice is often forgotten, but without them, the invasion would have failed. The medics, unarmed, marked with red crosses, they ran into fire to save the wounded. Many were shot doing so. German gunners often ignored the red crosses. Combat engineers, tasked with clearing minefields, blowing up obstacles, creating paths for tanks. They had the highest casualty rate of any unit on D-Day, 70% in some companies. They did their jobs anyway. But most of all, D-Day was won by ordinary soldiers, farm boys, factory workers, clerks, men who, months earlier, had been civilians. They faced the most fortified defenses ever built. They were terrified. Many froze. But they moved forward anyway, not for glory, not for medals, but because the men next to them were moving forward. That's how D-Day was won, one scared soldier at a time. By nightfall on June 6th, the impossible had been accomplished. The Atlantic Wall was breached. Allied forces controlled 50 miles of coastline. Supplies were coming ashore. Reinforcements were landing. The liberation of Europe had begun. But the price was terrible. 10,000 Allied casualties, 4,000 confirmed dead. Thousands more wounded, missing, captured. Each one was someone's son, brother, father, husband. June 7th. The beachhead must be expanded. More troops, more supplies. The Germans are counterattacking. Panzer divisions, SS troops, elite forces. The hedgerows of Normandy become a nightmare. Every field is a fortress. Machine guns in every corner, snipers in every tree. The Allies advance yard by yard. The casualties mount. The hedgerows, ancient earthen walls overgrown with thick vegetation. The Normandy countryside is a maze of them, perfect for defense. German soldiers hide in them, wait for American tanks. Panzerfausts destroy the tanks at point-blank range. Infantry must clear each hedge by hand. It takes weeks to advance a few miles. Casualties are as bad as D-Day itself. American ingenuity adapts. Sergeant Curtis Cullen invents the Rhino. Steel tusks welded to the front of Sherman tanks. They cut through the hedgerows like butter. Tanks can now advance with infantry support. The tide begins to turn. But the fighting is still brutal. Close range, vicious, no glory, just survival. By late June, the German defenses are crumbling. Ammunition is running low. Reinforcements can't get through. Allied aircraft control the skies. Anything that moves during the day is destroyed. German commanders know they're losing. But Hitler forbids retreat. Fight to the last man, he orders. So they do, and they die. July 25th, Operation Cobra, the American breakout from Normandy. 2,400 bombers carpet bomb German positions. The earth erupts. German lines disintegrate. American tanks pour through the gap. General Patton's Third Army is unleashed. They race across France. The Germans are in full retreat. By August, Paris is liberated. The Falaise Pocket. 50,000 German troops trapped. Allied forces close in from all sides. The Germans try to escape. It becomes a slaughter. Allied aircraft attack continuously. Artillery pounds the trapped formations. Tens of thousands are killed or captured. A German officer describes it as the corridor of death. The road is paved with dead men and horses. From Normandy, the Allies push into Germany. The Rhine is crossed. Berlin is surrounded. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrenders. The war in Europe is over. It took 11 months from D-Day to victory, but none of it would have been possible without June 6, 1944. Without the men who stormed those beaches, without the 24 hours that saved the world. Historians debate, what if D-Day had failed? What if the Allies had been thrown back into the sea? No second front in Europe, the Soviets fighting alone. Perhaps a negotiated peace with Hitler. Perhaps a Cold War with Nazi Germany instead of the Soviet Union. Perhaps a world where fascism still ruled Europe. D-Day didn't just win a battle, it saved civilization. June 6, 1944 was the turning point of World War II. Before D-Day, Germany could still win. After D-Day, Germany could only lose. It was the largest amphibious invasion ever attempted. It was pulled off against the strongest coastal defenses ever built. It succeeded because of planning, because of courage, because of sacrifice, and because thousands of young men were willing to die for freedom. Eisenhower's message to the troops before D-Day: the eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. They didn't let him down. Against impossible odds, they stormed Hitler's fortress. They climbed the cliffs. They crossed the beaches. They liberated Europe. They saved the world. In 24 hours, they changed history forever. But victory came at a terrible price. 10,000 Allied casualties on D-Day alone. 4,415 confirmed dead. Thousands more died in the months that followed. Every one of them had a name, a family, a life they'll never live. They were sons who'll never come home, brothers who'll never grow old, fathers who'll never meet their children. The town of Bedford, Virginia, population 3,500. On D-Day, the town sent 35 men from Company A, 116th Infantry. 19 were killed in the first 15 minutes at Omaha Beach. By the end of the day, 21 were dead. Nearly every family in Bedford lost a son. It's the highest per capita D-Day loss of any town in America. The Nyland family sent 4 brothers to war. 2 died on D-Day, 1 died in Burma. The 4th, Sergeant Frederick Nyland of the 101st Airborne, was ordered home, the sole surviving son. His story inspired the film Saving Private Ryan. But it wasn't a Hollywood story. It was real. 4 brothers served. Only 1 came home. The survivors carried D-Day for the rest of their lives. Many never spoke of it. The memories too painful. The guilt of survival too heavy. Why did I live when my friends died? They came home heroes, but they didn't feel like heroes. They felt like survivors. And every June 6th, for the rest of their lives, they remembered. Today, 9,387 American soldiers lie in the Normandy American Cemetery, overlooking Omaha Beach. Rows of white crosses and stars of David, perfectly aligned, stretching as far as the eye can see. Each one represents a life cut short, a future stolen, a family broken. They are forever young, forever in France, forever guarding the beach they died to take. We owe them everything, the freedom we enjoy, the world we live in, the fact that we live in a world without Nazi Germany. It's because of them. The teenagers who stormed the beaches, the paratroopers who jumped into darkness, the sailors who brought them there, the pilots who protected them. They gave everything. We must never forget. 79 years later, fewer than 1% of the D-Day veterans are still alive. They're in their 90s now. Soon, there will be none left. No one to tell the story firsthand. No one to describe the fear, the chaos, the courage. That's why we must tell it, why we must remember, why June 6th can never be just another day. They've been called the greatest generation. They grew up in the Depression, fought in the war, built the modern world. They didn't ask for glory. Most didn't even think they were heroes. They were just doing their job, they'd say. But they saved the world. And they did it when they were young. Most were under 25. Think about that. Teenagers saved the world. Eisenhower said it best in his D-Day message. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. And they did. From Normandy to the Rhine, from the beaches to Berlin, they marched together. Americans, British, Canadians, French, Poles, men from every allied nation, united by a common cause, freedom. June 6, 1944, D-Day. The day 156,000 men stormed Hitler's fortress. The day 4,000 gave their lives. The day the tide of war turned. The day that saved the world. We remember them. We honor them. We owe them our freedom. We owe them our world. We owe them everything. Thank you to the heroes of D-Day. We will never forget. Thank you for watching until the end. These stories matter. These men matter. If you found value in this documentary, please subscribe to Historion channel. Every week we bring you history that connects the past to today. Stories that deserve to be told. Stories that must never be forgotten. Thank you for remembering with us.